Hello. I'm Christian Michael Filardo. Thanks for coming. And I'm going to read some poems for y'all. I've been hiding behind a haircut, sitting in my window in a bathrobe, calling friends for dating advice while staring at the frat house across the street. I started growing my hair out 2 years ago, just after we moved to Baltimore City. I suppose I kept it long to hang on to you, or whatever we had left. When you left, you were folding my underwear, telling me you didn't love me anymore. I can remember crying. I can't remember you crying. Sometimes I think about the nude beach in Santa Barbara, where we walked into the Pacific Ocean naked. I remember how the salt water makes my asthma flare up. I get scared a lot, thinking about going to sleep and not waking up, feeling bad for those who might find my body because it smelled so bad from rotting. Recently I met this girl who I really like. I told her I was thinking about cutting my hair. She asked why. I told her I'd just like to be dramatic. Picture yourself riding west in a car, on a long stretch of road, going 70 miles per hour. We were wearing Matrix-style sunglasses. I'm in the driver's seat drinking a Monster. There are these mountains in the distance, and the sun is setting. You were talking to me about photography, wait, painting, wait, poetry, waiting. It's dark outside. The moon is now in the sky. When was the last time you saw someone naked? When did you last see a de Kooning in person? We stop at a Chevron. You go inside and buy us ginger ales. Do you remember the first time you saw a romantic comedy? Do you remember the first time you had sex? I remember listening to Grouper. Earlier that day I bought an Olivetti typewriter. It was gray with green keys. Making love in her friend's Adobe was honest. The other day a bull escaped the slaughter. Cop shot it dead. Sometimes I think about it goring me, especially while I'm in the shower. I like to take showers in the dark. It's supposed to simulate being in the womb. Does it make me a mama's boy? Are you my mama? I'm the baby, gotta love me. I'm the baby, gotta love. I'm the baby, gotta. I'm the baby. The best Christmas gift I ever got was a pair of golden boxer shorts. My half-brother Andre got them for me. They made me feel funny and confident. I wore them until the gold fell off. You wore me until the gold fell off. Until I looked like last night. El burro sabe más que tú. The donkey is smarter than you. I'm an ass, chasing a carrot, uphill, both ways, in a blizzard. You're a glacier, melting in my arms, gone by morning, a dream in an ocean. I want to call someone my butterfly. I want to wake up and make them eggs. I want to read them tarot. I want to be their bad boy. When I shave my head, I'll be bad. So bad. Will my ears be bigger? Will I look good in hats? I might even be ugly. Maybe I can never look in a mirror again. How many mirrors in the world are there? How many mirrors will shatter? How much bad luck is that? At least it'll be gone. The hair. The 10 things I hate about you. The uniform. I'm trying to fall in love. With the idea of being in love. With the idea of being in love. With the idea of being in love with someone. I'll wait for you at the airport. Right before security, just before the plane hits the tarmac. At the moment the fasten seatbelt sign turns off. I don't want to be honest later. I want to be honest always. I want to be so honest that my shadow disappears. Not even a white lie. Every time I look up, I want to see a sunset. Every time I look down, I want to see a ship sink. That's a lot of hair. I want to hear a canary in a coal mine. I want to hear her sing. I want to hear her sing Crying by Roy Orbison, forever and ever.
Deleuze talks about the masochist delighting in or even requiring formalism. And I think this is why I love Depeche Mode so much. It's the drama of it all, the deep beats, the damn timpani drum they use. It's all reminiscent of the pomp and circumstance that's required in S&M. The preparation and the staging for the scene, the intense amount of fantasy buildup, the expectation, the mental work surrounding the actual acts that are performed, the suspension of disbelief. It's so worth it to read Deleuze on masochism just for how he brusquely talks about it from what is clearly like this intimate place of knowledge of the very dorky mental orchestration involved in the otherwise fundamental act of jacking it. Marin and I always used to agree that perverts were lucky because they were required to think about what got them off, how and why it did, instead of taking the orgasm for granted as a thing beyond one's mental control. The masochist is blessed. They operate from a place of mental rigidity and discipline.
This poem's called Bleach. I tore a scab off while standing in a Buddhist temple. Everyone awoke from meditation to blood on the mandala. Bang a gong. Feel the vibration. It's a weird feeling, like bowing to myself in the mirror. One day, when I die, someone is going to airbrush flames on my casket and bleach my dead hair.
Once I was lucky enough to have a session with this young guy who was actually conventionally attractive, and something really strange occurred. The guy had styled dark hair and a tight little ass, like a conventionally nice body, and a pretty face that I definitely would have rolled my eyes at in real life. He had a kind of constant sheepish glint in his eye, like he knew he was too hot to be a slave. He wanted to do this role play where he was supposed to have been at a strip club, like slapping the girls' asses, getting handsy, and generally behaving like a moronic, privileged piece of fuck. I was supposed to be the head girl who, watching this behavior, got wise to his bullshit and led him into the back office for a disciplinary hearing, then, of course, giving him a taste of his own medicine, so to speak. We did this in a gilded red room nicknamed the Palace, a giant stone throne on one wall I chose to be my chair in the strip club office. I have this vivid, deeply embarrassing memory of him dancing in front of me, dressed up in a little camisole and pink see-through panties, a bit like ones I had at home. His sideways cock rock hard inside the underwear, while that shameful Rhythm is a Dancer song played in strained volume from my cracked iPhone as I ordered him to keep going. both of us staring at the other, thrown into the obsessive work of conjuring the reality of the scene up between us. Him concentrating on the strip club, his stupid smirk begging me for some flicker of acknowledgement. Me on my red throne in this reverie of a sci-fi landscape, like I was a queen on some distant matriarchal planet, accustomed to punishing men for their piggish, testosterone-fueled sins of existence. I forced my face straight even as I knew it was futile. I can't forget the shame of him dancing in front of me and my uncontrollable and mystifying attraction. We had so few tools but the mutual fever of our mental conjuring. Even as my aggressive suppression of my own desire forced the scene to take on a sensual valence, he gyrated stupidly in front of me, and I imagined a third person, some outsider, viewing this impossible exchange, at once utterly benign and humiliatingly intimate.
Thanks, Amelia. This poem is called Richie. You had knuckle tattoos. My guess is they read real life, but I can't remember. You'd be my teardrop, homie, in red ink like your hair. I saw you the night before at the Arrington show. You were looking directly into the lights, letting your eyes roll into the back of your head, throwing your hands up in the air.
The desired is behind glass, behind the phantom phone call that for many reasons it's impossible to make. The desired is so even unrelated to that effortless masculinity in straight boys I so despise, the enraging entitlement of those too innocent to notice their own myriad sins. The desired perhaps transmutes my desire of men. It controls a desire I otherwise cannot by sublimating it into the realm of the feminine, into femininity in general. I do not idolize boyhood or the boy, but there is something so beautiful and heartrending about the way I imagine the desired's hand to move, the beautiful articulation of the hand's gesture reaching delicate long fingers with broad nails, reaching towards something but never touching. When the desired is forbidden, the mind moves all kinds of ways. The mind takes liberties. Building upon the desired, it rends and twists the heart's fabric with reminders of its distance. The mind tugs the invisible cord that binds desirer and desired. And the worst is the deep, shadowed knowledge we do not turn towards it, that the invisible cord does not exist at all, is only imagined. The desired is indifferent, and his smeared cat eyeliner does not know the desirous pain and can never know it. I've had so many experiences, time after time, with embarrassed men. They beg me to call them sluts in their pantyhose. They're as pathetic as they hope I'll find them, their tiny cocks struggling in base and unbeautiful as they know they are, and get off on the baseness of themselves. They fucking should wish they could strive to possess the effortless beauty of the boy slicking an errant lock of chestnut hair behind his ear, unthinking how he seems to me in his playful, quiet way. I so poorly describe this beauty that I have to lend it the mystique of poetry, the suggestive space between words.
Rain or not at all. Life treats me as a stranger, puppeted by a celestial light. Is there an end to this story? Slowly an anvil falls through the air without tumbling. Sometimes, when I sit alone at the bar, I see my grandfather drinking gin and tonics out of a 49ers glass. I'm sure the bar is open in heaven. Just a minute. School must be out, counting 27 pills in total. A slow clap starts at the back of the room. I hear a whisper, but it's just me talking to myself.
I'm often ashamed by the predictability of my own desire. I love those scenes in porn where it's clearly a fake house. The oxidized red marble shower, cream upholstered couch, and no one happens to be home. And you can almost hear the voices echo over the unwalked hardwoods like no one has lived there ever. A woman comes over, visiting her bored woman friend who's just there. And they just get to sort of seductively talking on the couch. I usually watch with the sound off, so I don't even know what the conversation circles around. But I could even get off just to the suggestion of it. The fingers playing around the fringe on the collar of the sweater. Yearning. Testing. Fingers reaching out. Suggesting, never touching. Never revealing. Two women who can't help but overstep the bounds of friendship. So much of those uncanny moments come, I feel like, from the 60s, the 50s and 60s. Yeah. I'm thinking about David Bowie and this whole idea of it's the retro idea of what aliens look like or who aliens are. Mm-hmm. And the theremin is this kind of space age technology, right?
Oh my
it's
God,
so
yeah.
revolutionary. I mean, it's just completely other, I mean, it's literally you're playing the air. It's you're playing an instrument that basically exists in an invisible dimension, right?
Yeah, when you put it like that.
I just think about that time, and it's so interesting. All those Twilight Zone episodes, there are all those episodes that posit or present. Humans as living in quote unquote the space age, which is this age in which we could walk around on other planets without a helmet on or whatever, you know what I mean? We've already been able to find planets that have oxygen, or we coexist with other species of extraterrestrial beings.
Yes.
And I think it's so interesting that people back then would posit that as something that was to become normal for human civilization. And I think a lot of people that when they think about conspiracy theories or aliens or the existence of extraterrestrials or not, it's why, there must be aliens out there, right? But if there are, why haven't we heard from them? Why haven't they tried to contact us, or why haven't we been able to contact them? I was reading, do you remember, I don't know what the Wikipedia page is called, but it's basically this theory that's actually been scientifically sort of proven, I think, that basically Earth is on a schedule, and civilizations before Earth have sort of been on this schedule from the dawn of time, that they get to a point where they basically wipe themselves out before they are able to work to a level of technological sophistication where they're able to contact civilizations in other galaxies. Oh. And that's why no one's contacted us. That's why we haven't contacted anyone yet.
Oh my God, that's so lonely.
Yeah. Anyway, you're listening to Midnight Zero. Thanks for staying with us.
Thanks.